All right. All right. Good evening, Mr. Curtis. This is FTS, the one training on BTMM and ICT. All right, BTMM by BTMM Bid Market Maker by Simaro and ICT Inasego Trader by Michael Hudson. Yeah. So these two methods, you see, they are independently powerful method, but when you combine both of them, you have a whole new powerful method altogether. Right now, first of all, I will start with this. Right, this is the whole method. This is it. What you're seeing here on the screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So like I said we have 3 steps into BTMM. BTMM and ICT. Yeah. What you call that? BTMM plus ICT. Yeah. Yeah. So this is the whole step involved. This is the in a nutshell, the picture of what we're going to do, right? Yeah. On first of all, like I said, D1 on daily time frame, we'll look out for other block or demand and supply zone, that is trade setups on other blocks or demand and supply zone. But 2, H4, on H4 time frame, we look out for break and source. Then number 3, M15 is for entry using LSB plus retest, right? That's outside the range. Or within range, we use OTE, optimal trade entry, or trendline break. In a nutshell, this is what we are going to do, right? Yeah. So day 1, today I'm going to focus on 1 and 2. The 2, I'm going to focus on M50 for entry. Then the 3 is miscellaneous, right? Things that we do that we didn't capture, right? Yeah. So and after each day, I'm going to give you an assignment so that you follow up everything, right? Yeah. So the reason why I pointed for the for this, before I continue, let me give you a disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor, neither do I give financial advice. This Zoom is for educational purpose only. As we all know, past profit, no artificial result, right? So you trade at your own risk. So that's the disclaimer every forex trader ought to give. So first of all, I'll talk about the order block, break and source, what they mean, right? Order block is an IT concept. Break and source also an IT concept, right? But on day 2, which is going to be on entry, and we'll talk more on BTMM, right? Then on the 2 as well, of which you get to watch the video after now, right? We'll talk about the entries and how to look at the setups and all of that, right? And after each Zoom, right, I'm going to give you an assignment for you to do, right? Yeah. So the review in this method is this, the which is the number 1, D1, daily time frame order block and demand and supply zone. Why do I choose the daily time frame order block and demand and supply zone? You know, I found out that whenever we see setups on daily time frame, right, or when trade setups are on the daily time frames order block or demand and supply zone, trades normally pick from there, right? Yeah, but if we ignore the daily time frame, I would trade H4 and we enter for M15. We find out that we'll trade from the middle of nowhere, but we'll pick trades from daily time frame OB or demand and supply zone, right? Yeah, these are the zones where we'll likely pick good trade setups and they will likely work for us, right? Now, so first of all, I'll take you to the slide now where I'm going to show you what the meaning of order block, bullish order block, bearish order block, breaker, and source. Can we proceed?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Can you see this?
Yes.
Yeah, good. So like I said, order block is an IC concept, right? Yeah. So what is an order block? So from institutional point of view or from institutional perspective, a bearish order block is that upward candle that is responsible for the downward move, the last upward candle, or is that up candle, that bullish candle that is responsible for the downward move, right? Yeah. So this is an order block, right? Yeah. A bearish order block is that bullish candle that you see, the last bullish candle that is responsible for the downward move, or the last up candle that you see before the downward move, right? It is validated as price trade below the low of, you know that every candle has 4 part, the high and the low, the open and the close. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So whenever trade trades below the low of it, right? That price, that candle has what? has been validated as an order block, right? So entry is made as price trade back into it, right? Now we have two kind of entry here. From here, you can enter where price trade back into the 50%, which is called what, the mean threshold, that is 50%, or you can enter as price trade just into the low of it. So depending on where you enter from, yeah, you're correct, right? So like I said, first of all, I'm talking about the bearish order block and the bullish order block. After now, I'll take you to the chart to show us what it is. But this is what an order block is. I'm going to talk about bullish order block, bearish order block, then demand and supply zones. I want to talk about those 4 concepts and break down. So then I'm going to show you, because today is going to focus on daily time frame and H4. Why the two is going to focus on M15. Is that good? Yeah. So this is what is meant by what a bearish order block. I said, like I said, a bearish order block is that bullish candle that is responsible for the downward move. It is validated. It is considered an order block as price trade below it, right? And entry is made where price trade back into it. That means the price has to do what, a retest. That's what I mean by price trading back to it. That is price has to do a retest, either from price has to retest it from here, go down, or it has to come all the way to the 50% of it, of the candle's body, which is called the mean threshold, right? So entry is made as price trade back into here or this level, right? So that is what the retest of the order block candle. And when you set stop loss, you set stop loss at the high, which is what, the high of the candle, yeah, or the high of the candle. So that is where you set your stop loss, right? Yeah, like I said, we look at for setups on daily time frame, demand or supply zone, or bullish or bearish order block. Then we trade H4 by looking out for a breaker and source on H4. Then we enter from M15. So these are the 3 time frames we marry together and we trade them. Hey, we look out for trades on demand or supply on H4, on daily time frame, H4 breaker and source, right? Yeah, LSB plus retest. Then 3 M15 for entry. Right? So the reason why we choose M15 for entry is that we have tighter stop loss and early entry, right? In line with daily time frame demand and supply, or demand and supply zone or order blocks, H4 breaker and source retest, yeah. Then M50 for the entry. So these are the 3 steps into trading a successful BTMM and ICT, and most of the time you will be on the right track. Is that good?
Yes.
Yeah, so these are the 3 steps. So you must take cognizance of these 3 steps. So you don't have to miss any of them. So I'm trying to explain what a bearish order block is, right? So like I said, a bearish order block is the last bullish candle, or that bullish candle from the peak formation high or peak formation low, right? That is responsible for a downward move, right? So this is the last bullish candle you saw here, right? So like I said, it is validated. It is regarded as an order block as price trade below it, right? So whenever price trade below it, we're expecting price to do what, a retest, either at the 50%, which is the mean threshold, or at the low of it, right? Yeah, so that is our entry, right? So we enter as price trade below the trade into the 50%, which is called the mean threshold, or the low of it. Then when you take stop losses, you set a stop loss at the high of the candle, right? Set a stop loss at the high of the candle. So that is a bearish order block. Now, let me ask you, will you consider this? Will you consider this as a bearish order block? Let me ask you this. This one?
No.
Look properly again. I say bearish order
Oh,
block.
yes.
Okay.
Yep.
I will try to get your attention if you consider this bullish candle.
Yes.
Yeah. So why?
Can
you tell me why?
Oh, right there.
Yeah.
No, that yes, it is.
Okay. Why?
Bullish and then bearish, it broke the box.
Now look at it. So this candle validated it as an order block, and this was the retest as price trade back into it. So this was the retest. Sorry, this was the retest of it, and price moved away. So you can consider this as a bearish order block. Nevertheless,
Yes.
it is an order block within price, right?
Yes.
It's an order block within what? Movement of price. So this is what we call institutional order flow, right? So, but when we have it outside like this, right? We call them what? Bearish or bullish order block. But when we have them within movement as price move, right? We call them institutional order flow, IOF. So I'm going to talk about it later, but I'm just trying to tell you what it is, right? Okay. So let me
Okay.
ask you one more question. Will you consider this as a bearish order block? Let's see this one. See?
Yes.
Okay, because price broke it and price did the retest. Am I correct? Price right below it
Yep.
and price did the retest. So this was the retest and it auto moved down. Right, good. So you got it. Now, so I think I should just a minute. Okay. Okay, just a minute. Let me see. Okay, just a minute. Okay, now look at this. Now we've talked about the bearish order block, right? Yeah. So now we're talking about the bullish order block. So it's just the same concept, but just that we have reversed. It's not the opposite side of it. So like I said, the bullish order block. Let me define it. The bullish order block is the last bearish candle, the last downward candle that's responsible for the upward move. That is the last downward candle that is responsible for the upward move, right? So all that candles are bearish candles, right? So is the last bearish candle, or is that bearish candle that is responsible for the upward move? So look at it. So this is the last bearish candle, and as price trade below it is validated. The retest is when price trade back into it. So this was the retest of it, and that was it. Or you can say this is a retest, right? This one, yeah. You can say this was a retest, right? So we have this one as a retest, or we have this as a good retest, and that's how price moved away from it. So we can say that as a what? A bullish order block, right? So the bullish order block is meant to get traders to what? To buy is meant to bring in traders in bullish traders into the market, right? Yeah, and thereby trapping bearish traders, right? So look at this. So this is the last bearish candle. Okay, as you trade away, it came to retest the bearish candle, right? And price moved away, right? Yeah, so that's a good definition of what a bearish order block, right? The last downward candle that is responsible for the upward move, right? So that is a bearish order block. So now, like I said, I've defined what is bullish order block and what is a bearish order block. So now I'm going to take you to the chart now. I'm going to show you so that we can see it live and how it happened, right? Yeah, so look at this. Look at this. So like I've said, I say from institutional perspective, a bullish order block, a bearish order block is the last bullish candle. So this is the bullish candle, right? Yeah, you can look at it, right? Yeah, that bullish candle, yeah, this bullish candle you saw here, this is the bearish order block that is responsible for the for the downward move. So, and as price trade below it with this candle, it has been validated. Is that good? So retest is made as price trade back into it. So this is the retest. So this was the retest. Price broke. Yeah, price broke with this candle, and this is the retest. This is the first retest, second retest, and this is the third retest before the move. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes.
So you can say this is a valid order block. So like I said, the entry at 50% of order block board is called the mean threshold. So some persons choose your entry, right? Yeah. So if you have entered from here in first place, your stop loss would have been on the high of the candle. So this trade was a valid trade for a bearish order block. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a valid setup for what? The bearish order block. So we call it OB. OB means what? An order block. Yeah, good. Now look at this. Now let's talk about the bullish order block. Now look at these two candles, right? Yeah, we can classify these two candles as one because the candles are small. Can you see how small body? Yeah. So whenever we have two smaller bodies together, we can combine them as one and define them as what? The bullish order block, because they're the last downward candle responsible for the upward move, right? The last down candle responsible for the upward move. So now, so as price trade above it, so with this bullish candle, it has been validated. So entry is made as price trade back. So like I said, the retest can be either on here, or it can come as low as 50% of the price, and that's it. But on here, price will get to 50%. You just kiss the tip of the entry of the order block candle, and that was how price moved away. Did you see that? So on any time frame, order block is an what? Is an order block, right? Yeah. But just know that is that downward candle that is responsible for the upward move. So you look out for any downward candle that is at the peak formation low. What I mean peak formation low, something like this. Look at this one, right? Look at this. So is that you choose one of these or you choose both of them. You are correct. You can so to choose both of them or you choose one of them. So this is the bearish what? Order block. So I said to put them as one. So this is so This was the validation, right? Validation and entry was this. So this is the price broke it with this, right? And it did an entry with this. And what price traded away from that? While the bearish order block was this. Look at the bearish order block, right? The last upward candle. Did you see that? So price broke with this one, and this was the validation and the entry. So the entry was somewhere here, right? It came like this and retest one, retest again, and boom, it moved away. So yeah, so that is what a bearish order block is all about, and that is also what a bullish order block is all about, right? Now, like I've said,
Wow.
yeah, so that's how simple, how easy it's all about, right? This method is BTMM and ICT. We're not talking about pure ICT, we're not talking about pure BTMM, but a combination of both methods combined together to give you something new that you can trade on, and you'll become consistent when you trade in. Now look at this one, the valid bearish order. Look at it, right? So this is the last downward candle, right? Did you see that? Yeah, look at it, right?
Yes.
So, and as price trade above with this, right? Price have to come back to, right, to retest it, and that was the move. Did you see that? So your stop loss
Yeah.
gonna be on this low, right? Entry, like I said, they use 50% of order blocks kind, which is called what the mean threshold, which is 50%, right? Yeah. And this was the valid entry for this. So this was the good bullish order block. And that is it. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that is a bullish order block, right? And bearish order block. Now we'll talk about, there's a concept called breaker and source, right? Yeah. So that's what I'm going to talk about now. Before I will talk about demand and supply zones. Is that okay? I will talk about the demand and supply zone after breaker and source. Now, what is a breaker and source? Now, follow me. Yeah. Sorry. Right. Yeah. Now look at this. So I believe from now on you're able to identify what a bullish order block is and what a bearish order block is all about, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Can you identify those order blocks on any chart?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Right. So all right. So now we'll talk about breaker and source. Take note of these terminologies: breaker and source. Right. Now look at this. So we have two kind of breaker. Just like we have bullish and bearish order block. Now we have a bearish breaker and bullish breaker. Is that okay? Now let's talk about bullish and bearish breaker first. Now look at it. So this is a bearish breaker. What's a bearish breaker? Listen. A bearish breaker, as like I said, breaker is an ICT concept, right? Inner circle trader is an ICT concept, right? Yeah. So a breaker is the last bearish candle that you see before the peak formation high or the higher high. If you look all of these plays, they're all bullish candles. Am I correct? Bullish candles, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So the last bearish candle you see, right?
Yep.
Before the peak formation high or before the higher high, is called the breaker, right? Before the breaker. Sometimes breaker also goes with breaking market structure. That bullish candle or that bearish candle that is responsible, that you see that's close to where there's market structure break, right? Yeah. Now look at it. So this is the bearish. So the bearish breaker, the last bearish candle you see that is responsible for the peak formation high or the higher high, right? As price trade below it is called LSB, last hair broken. Got it. As price trade below it, just that you have other block, as price trade below it is validated. The breaker, as price trade below it is called what? LSB, which means what? Last step broken. Is that okay? Yeah. That means the validation as price trade below the breaker, right? Yeah, it's called LSB, last step broken. Just like when we have breaking market structure, right? You know market structure,
yeah.
You know market structure as price trade below the structure, like a higher high, making it a lower high, right? A lower low, as price does a retest. So as price trade below the breaker, it is called what? LSB, last step broken, right? And as we identify the LSB, we pick the peak formation high or the candle that depicts the high as the source.
So say again.
As LSB occurs, we pick the highest candle or the peak formation high as the source. So this is the breaker, this is the source. So that highest candle is called the source. As in the highest candle, it might be bullish, it might be bearish, right? is called the source. So this is the breaker. Like I said, the bearish breaker, the last bearish candle that's responsible for the peak formation high. Nevertheless, it is as price trade below it is called LSB, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So this is LSB, which means we're last year broken. Just follow it. Follow the sequence 1, 2, 3. As to identify the LSB, that peak formation candle is called what? The source, or what? The peak formation candle, right? Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, so I'll take you to the chart. I'm just going to explain what it meant here, right? Yeah, the entry is made what as price does a retest, but we only enter from M15. Like I said, we don't enter from H4. Our entry is only on M15. If you look at what I've said, right? Number one, we talk about daily time frame, demand, and supply zone or other block, the H4 breaker and source. So I'm trying to explain what the term breaker and source is all about, what it means, right? So that by the time we harmonize everything together, you see the something from a holistic perspective of what I was trying to paint. Is that okay? So I'm trying to explain the terminologies for you to understand them, right? Yeah. Now look at this, right? So this is what a bearish breaker, because it's the last bearish candle that you see before the peak formation high. And as price trade below it, it is called what? LSB. As we identify the LSB, we as price trade below is called the LSB. That particular time, we not pick the peak formation candle as our source, right? We pick the peak formation candle as our source. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, like I said, the retest will not trade unless they will have a retest. So price might do a retest on the breaker. I will tell you 3 things that will likely happen. But let me explain the bullish breaker first. I just explained bearish breaker. Let me explain the bullish breaker again and tell us now. Now look at the bullish breaker. Now, if bearish breaker is the last bearish candle you see before the peak formation high, what is bullish breaker? Bullish breaker is that last bullish candle you see before the peak formation low or the lower low. You see that? This is the lower low. Am I correct?
Yep.
So this is the last bullish candle, right? As price trade above it, even if it's a week, it has been validated. It is called what? LSB. Last step broke, which is number 2. The 3, as we identify the LSB, we pick the peak formation low on the lower low as our source. Then, like I said, entry is made only on M15. When you trade breaker and source, you don't enter from H4, except you want to swing. If you're a swing trader, you go with H4 entry. But if you're not a swing trader, right, you are intraday.
M15.
You focus on your entry is on M15, which I'm going to explain in our next Zoom call. Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is it. So now I'm going to take you to the chart. I'm going to show you what I meant. Let's go. Just a minute. Okay. All right. So I'll explain the bearish breaker and the source, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Look for UUZ. Okay. Take all these off. Just a minute. Trying to see. Delete key. Okay, good. Okay. All right. Now look at this. So, like I said, the breaker is the last bearish candle, all right, that you see before the peak formation high. Now look at it. So these are 2 smaller candles, so I'll use them as one. So this is our breaker, right? These are bearish breaker, right? The last bearish candle before we see before the peak formation high or the higher high. And as price trade below it here, it's called LSV. As LSV occur, we identify the peak formation candle as our source. Now look at it. Like I said, look, another block is the last bullish candle. You see this another block. The breaker, bearish breaker, is that bearish candle you see before the peak formation candle. The peak formation candle is the one that carry this semaphore. Do you see that this star you saw is called semaphore? Okay.
Say that again.
This star you're seeing here, this peak formation low, peak formation high, it's called star. It's called semaphore. Is that okay? Semaphore. SEMAFOR, semaphore. Higher high. It helps us identify the peak formation highs and peak formation lows. Higher highs and higher lows.
Got it.
Did you get what I said?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you with me now?
Yep.
Yeah. So I was trying to explain the bearish breaker and the source for us, right? So I think I should use some of that. Okay, let me use this position. Like I said, the bearish breaker is that last bullish candle, the last bearish candle you see before the peak formation candle. So this is the last bearish candle, right? Before the peak formation candle. Am I correct?
Yep.
The last bearish candle, right? So as price trade below it, as price validate it, the validation is called LSB, last step broken. All right. So so as price validate it, we identify the peak formation candle as our source. So this is our source. This is our breaker, and this the one that carry the star. This something here is called the source. So this candle is called the source. So we have this. So this is the breaker, and this is the source. The breaker is the last bearish candle, bearish breaker, and this is the source. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So if after identify our breaker and source, right? Three things will likely happen. Number one, price may likely come to retest, like what it did here. After trading below, it came all the way to the source, right? Sometimes three things will likely happen. Like I said, price will likely come and retest the breaker before coming down. Sometimes it retests the source before going in the down position. Sometimes what it goes up, right? It by like continue the uptrend. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Three things, like I said, will likely happen. Number one, the retest. So the retest might happen like after breaking, it went back to the source, right? Like what we saw here. But sometimes it just retests the breaker before coming, right? Sometimes it retests the source candle before coming. And sometimes it continues upward, like we have an uptrend. Is that correct?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Take note, whenever a breaker and a source is formed, a trend has changed, a bias has changed from a bullish trend to a bearish trend. Does that make sense?
Say it again.
Whenever a breaker and source is formed, a bias has
Both?
changed. Yeah.
Okay.
So breaker and source as are tools we are a means of what market reversals. The reverse direction of price. So whenever you see breaker and source, a bias has changed from a bullish bias to what? A bearish bias. And sometimes when you have a bullish breaker and source, it changed from a bullish bias also what? To a bearish bias, right? Now look at this. Like I said, let me define a bearish breaker now. A bullish breaker. A bullish breaker is the last bullish candle you saw. Look at this candle. This is the last bullish candle. Am I correct? Before the lower low.
Yep.
This is the lower low. Am I correct? You look at this.
Yep.
I didn't use this because this is just like what a shift a candle. This ought to be the lower low prior to this time. Just that there was a shift a candle. So I didn't use this one. I used this one. This is called the bullish breaker. The last bullish candle you saw that is responsible for this lower low. Am I correct? Yes. So this is the last bullish candle for the lower low, right? And as price, this is the value as price trade above it, right? Here it's called LSB. As LSB happens, right? We identify the peak formation low as our source. So this is our source. So we have a breaker and a source. And like I said, whenever a breaker and a source is formed in the market, a bias has changed. It's changed from a downtrend to what? An uptrend. Yeah. Now look at, like I said, we don't trade breakers until we have a retest. So the retest might be, so this is the retest. Price have to retest it, right? Like I said, three things like that, price have to, sometimes it retests the breaker before buying, just like what happened here. Sometimes, like I said, it retests what? It come all the way to the source or in between before what? Going up. Or sometimes it comes, it breaks and what? And it goes down to continue the downward move. Does that make sense?
So when you have the breaker and the source, you know it's confirmed.
Yes.
Okay.
The direction is confirmed. Now look at this. You know, now I will show you an exception. The reason why I have to bring in daily time frame order block or demand and supply zone is because of this nonsense. Now let me show you where this whole thing where there was an error in this. Now look, I will show you something now. You'll be amazed. Let me go to let me show you some stuff. You see. Okay, prior to this time, look at this. Are you with me?
Yes. Will we be done? Will we be finished in 5 minutes?
I don't think so. Don't worry.
How much more time?
Are you in a hurry?
How much more time you think?
Let me finish explaining the whole stuff. Okay. Are you in a hurry?
A little. I just want to know like how much more time.
Let me be done with this class. Just stay with me, okay? Well, the most important
Okay.
thing is you should get the understanding. Does that make sense?
10 minutes.
I say you should get the understanding. I said 45 minutes. So have we done 45 minutes?
Okay, like 5, 10 more minutes.
I said 45 minutes. We have not done 30 minutes either, even. Just be patient, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Now look at this. Prior to this time, right? Look at this. Prior to this time, this was the source because this is where the higher high was on. Now, this was the prior to this time, right? Let us rule this part off. Let's take away this. Let's assume that this part did not happen, right? Okay. Prior to this time, this was the peak potential high. So this was the breaker. Did you see this?
Hold on. Give me 1 second. 1 second.
Okay.
1 second. Okay.
All right. All right. So I was like, let's assume this part has not played that, right? Now look at this. Let's say this ought to be the breaker. Like I said, let's use this high for instance, right? Yeah. Okay. Let me just show this. Okay. Now look at this. I want to show you where there is a failure in this. Now look at this. Let's assume here I haven't played that. Yeah. Let's assume we don't have this place here. Good. Now this ought to be the breaker, right? The last bearish candle. Am I correct?
Yep.
Yeah. And this ought to
Yep.
be as price trade below it, right?
Yep.
We have the source. So this our source ought to be here. True?
Yep.
Yeah. So these are breaker, these are source. So this is the retest. So the retest was this. Retest was this. So price trade below and retested the source, right? Is that true?
Yep.
Instead of price to come down, what happened? Price did not come down. Our price started going up and it broke the source. Like I said, three things will likely happen. Price might retest the breaker, it will sell, or it will retest the source and it will sell, or it will continue and trade above the breaker and keep up the uptrend. Three scenarios. Now look at this. In all of this, what happened? Price broke and started, it broke the source, right? And it made progress to the top. Am I correct?
Yeah.
That in all of this, everything I've said in H4 has failed. Because once upon a time, this semaphore was on this place. Am I correct? Was on
Yeah.
It ought to be the highest point, and it traded and it broke it and it came here and it came here and finally it settled here. Did you see that? Yeah. Now, why did I include the H1 daily time frame order block or the demand and supply zone? Now, demand and supply zone is simply zones of support and resistance. Am I correct? Yeah. So I have. So right. I'm going to share a screen with you where we see zones of support and resistance. Can you see this? Can you see my chart?
Yep.
Yeah. No. So this is a demand and supply zone, right? This is a demand supply indicator, right? That helps us to identify the demand and supply zones, right? Yeah, it helps us to identify demand and supply zone. So this is a demand zone, this is a supply zone, and this is a demand zone. Presently, price is somewhat daily time frame demand zone, right? So we have to harmonize, like I said, either daily time frame order block or demand and supply zone, like what I said here, right? And this is going to be where we anchor our H4 break and source. Look at the 3-step. 1, daily time frame order block or demand and supply zone. 1, H4 breaker and source. So on daily time frame demand and supply zone, we anchor H4 breaker and source, so that on M50 we enter if it's a bullish demand if it's a bullish order block or on daily time frame or a demand zone, the price we anchor on there and it will take off from there. If it's a supply zone or bearish order block on daily time frame, we anchor breaker and source from there on H4, we enter from M50. Does that make sense? 3 steps. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with that? Are you sure?
Yep.
Okay, now, so now let me go back to I'll go back to this chart, right? Let's look at it. So if you look at here, this is a demand zone, right? This is a demand zone, and this is the demand zone here. So on H4, we have price was anchored on daily time frame. Look at it. This is D1, this is H4, and this is MPT. Like I said, we anchor our breaker and source on daily time frame demand and supply zone or order block. Am I correct? So like I said, an order block, a bearish order block is the last bullish candle that's responsible for that one move. Am I correct? So this is a bullish order block, or you call it a demand zone, a supply zone. Sorry, bearish order block, or you call it a supply zone. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Yeah, and this was the retest. If you look at it, just like this is a retest. Am I correct? And price trade away. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So on demand and supply, they call it demand and supply. Why I see they call it order block? It's the same concept. You cannot fake it. Michael was trying to justify giving it another name, but I know that it's the same thing, right? Now look at this. So on daily time frame, we anchor it on daily time frame. Now let me go back to this now, right? So this is daily time frame, right? We anchor it on daily time frame, right? Now, just watch what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do something now, right? Just follow me. Take my lead. Follow my lead, right? On D1, right? This is a bearish order block, right? This is the demand zone. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Daily time frame order block, right? Yeah. This is the D1, right? Daily time frame order block. So this was the retest. Am I correct? The last bullish candle down, this was the retest, and price moved away. True. You can call it the demand zone or the order block. It's the same thing, bearish order block, right? Now on this order block, after we have marked it, then we go to H4 and we look for on this high. We now look for breaker and source. Just a minute. Let me clarify this stuff. Now look at it. Do you see this place now, right? I hope you saw this.
Right.
Yeah. So this is the daily time frame order block, but this is not H4 time frame. Does that make sense to you now? This is a H4 time frame. Yeah. So on H4, we'll not anchor our daily time frame order block from here. Look at it. So this is the breaker. This is the breaker now. This is the breaker. Watch. That's the breaker. H4 breaker. And as price trade below it with this we identify this as our source. Maybe I'll have to change the color so it should not you not get correct. Let me change the color now, right? From black to let me use blue. Okay. The black signifies the daily time frame order block, while the blue signifies the H4 breaker and source. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah. Like I said, this is on daily time frame order block, which is this is daily time frame order block, right? On daily time frame order block, we now anchor our breaker and our source. So this is our breaker. This is the last bearish candle, right? Before the peak formation high. And as price trade below it here, so the price trade below it here, right? Right? It is called LSB. As we mark the LSB, right? We identify the peak formation candle as our source. So this is our source. You see that? This is our source. Yeah. So this is the retest now. So the retest went all the way to the source. Does that make sense now? Right?
Yep.
And it moved away. From here, we'll keep selling price until it goes to daily time frame demand zone or bullish order block. So now we have gotten our directional bias. Does that make sense? Now, and if you look at price, immediately we have breaker and source on H4. It changed from an uptrend to what? A downtrend.
What about M15?
M15 is for another day, not today. So we're focusing on H4.
Okay.
Yeah. You see that? So we're focusing on H4. So the retest was on the breaker, on the source. It came all the way to the source. Now, see, the reason why we enter from M15 is simple. If now we don't know when price we don't know when price will do the retest, whether it might have done the retest here, we don't know, but it came all the way to the source, right? But anywhere within this axis, you can sell from anywhere. In as much as the retest is within the breaker and source, you can sell. But nevertheless, it came all the way to the source before what? a long move to the downside. So if you're a swing trader, you can trade, you can decide to sell from here, and your stop loss is going to be on this high. Does that make sense? Which is equivalent to what? The daily time frame, what? Order block, or what? Supply zone.
Right.
I will not sell now. The ones that are forming here, we're not going to trade all these ones, right? Because we are going to wait until price get to daily time frame demand zone like this. Look at it.
Right.
Let me show us. Now look at this. So these are the various levels that price may get to, this and this. These levels is sorry. So with this indicator, it has showed us our demand and supply zone from what? Daily time frame. So these are the places we are looking for. So when you sell price from here, you're selling, you're going to take profit at this demand zone. And when you buy, you're going to buy from here and hit this high, or you're going to hit it at this high before you think of selling again. Like here now, we're not selling now because this place is not strengthened enough to hold the trade.
Got it.
So I anchor H4 breaker and source on daily time frame order block, bullish or bearish order block, or demand and supply zone. Then we can have a solid directional bias on H4 in line with daily time frame demand and supply zone, or bullish or bearish order block. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah, that is it. So that was why I told us that it's a three-step stuff. 3-step. 1, daily time frame demand and supply zone. This is where we anchor our H4 breaker and source. Does that make sense? And then M15 is our entry. So, but we'll talk about M15 in our next class. Does that make sense now?
Okay.
Now, like I said, whenever a breaker and source is formed, a trend has what? Change bias from a bullish bias to what? A bearish bias. Now look at here. This was our daily time frame what? Demand zone, right? Yeah, these are daily time frame order block. Did you see that? Right? These are daily time frame order block. So price did what? A retest of what? Of the order block, right? Which is something like this. And it traded away. So the zones we are looking at for are these. 1, let me show the zones we are looking to sell, to try and look to sell market from. What is going to be what? Institutional order for. This is 1. The places people look out for. This is 2. Right? But what happened? Price traded below those levels. And look at where price came to. Price came all the way to but this is a demand zone, right? Yeah, it's a demand zone. This is why I told us demand and supply is also good. Yeah, this is a demand zone, not an order block. Now, this price cannot buy from there. Do you see that? So price came to do a retest or what the demand zone on this level. Do you see that?
Right.
Price did a retest on this demand zone, and price is likely to peak from here until it gets to this high. So I expect the price to peak to. So I'm buying this Euro USD from here until it gets to this high. On this level, we will not pinch our H4 breaker and source on H4. Now we cannot go to H4 and pin our breaker and source on H4. Now let's go to H4 on this level, not this one. Let me take this one out. I don't need this. Yeah, so this is what the demand zone, right? Just like price retested it here, first retest, and it moved away. Now price has come into it deeply. Now on H4, we'll now look for what? Breaker and source, LSB plus retest. So now what is LSB plus retest? Like I said, we'll now identify our breaker and source here, which is very, very easy. Now, like I said, let's identify the breaker and source here. Like I said, this is a base breaker. Now, so we'll identify this. So these are our last bearish candle. No, bullish breaker, sorry. These are not that valid, right? So we'll choose this one. This one. This is bullish candle, right? Right? Yeah. I can choose this one. Yeah. Price traded above it, which is okay. Let me not use that one. Just a minute. Sorry. Right. Okay. If I can I use this one? Okay, let's see. Okay, let me use this one. It's okay, sure. This is the last bullish candle. Let's use bullish candle, right? Yeah, this one. Yeah. And as price trade above, right? Price did the retest. So inside daily time frame demand zone, we have bullish order block, right? Which is what the last which is a break. Now we're talking about bullish breaker and source. So this is the breaker, right? The last bullish candle that you see before the peak formation, this is the peak formation candle, right? So this is it. This is it. As price trade above it, when I find the peak formation candle as our source. So here we have the breaker and source, right? This is the breaker and source. So this was the retest. So the retest was just this candle. Well, this is somehow rough anyway, and price move away. Now we are seeing that this is what a bullish bias. We are not going to sell this market. We are going to henceforth, it has shifted from a downward trend to what? An uptrend. Henceforth, we'll be looking for a buy from Euro USD. We are not selling it. So price has what? Giving us a bias. Now we have a bias from what? A daily time frame what? Demand zone. And from here, it was from what? Daily time frame what? Supplies or bearish order block. Can you see that? And on H4, we anchored our breaker and source on that. Right here, we anchor it on what? Demand zone, bullish demand zone on here, and we anchor our breaker and source on here, and price will keep rising. So we will looking for a buy always. We will not sell price, right? Now, so that is how it is. Now, institutional order flow. Let me just talk about it. Simple. Institutional order flow is an order block along the trend. What's an order block? A bullish order block is the last downward candle responsible for the upward move, right? Now look at it. So this is the last bearish candle, right? Yeah, and as price trade above it, all right, it's validated price to trade in back into it. So the reason why we trade institutional order flow, so that in case you miss this breaker and source here, right, you can enter from H4 using institutional order flow. But nevertheless, our entry, like I said, is mainly on M15. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. It's mainly on M15, right? Now,
yeah,
so
I'm ready to learn M15.
Yeah. Now, like I said, three step. One, you anchor your H4 on daily time frame demand or supply zone or bullish or bearish order block. Two, then you anchor. Then two, you trade breaker and source on H4 on daily time frame bullish or bearish order block or demand or supply zone. Then you enter for M15. 3 steps.
Got it.
And you have your directional bias accurately.
Got it. Thank you, sir.
Sense? Now yes. Look at this place. When it was here, let's look at what happened here. When it was here, how did you trade it? Let's look at this level. When price was here, let's look at it. When it did the retest here, right? This is what I'm going to look for now. Now let's go to H4 and let's see it. Let's see what happened there. Let's go to H4 and see the price at those levels there. Look at here. On here, this was our breaker, right? Yeah, this was our breaker. Did you see that? And as price trade above it, we identified this as our source. This became our source. And as well as we have this, the bias has changed from a downtrend to an uptrend. So this was the retest. This was the LSB retest. Price trade above it and did the retest in between, and price picked from there. So this gave us what? A directional bias from a downtrend to what? An uptrend. It retested the daily time frame demand zone. We anchor it on the daily time frame demand zone. Does that make sense?
Got it.
Yeah. So that is that, right? Like I told us, institutional order flow is just an order block along the trend. So you draw it and price trade and what? Do a retest, like what we have here, right? Look at this, right? Look at this, right? Yeah. It broke and did the retest, and that was where it moved from, right? Yeah. Look at this one, right? Yeah. And price broke and did a retest, it moved from there. Broke and did a retest, and what? It moved from there. So price was just buying all the way, and that was it. So even though you have a bearish setup, you will not sell. You keep holding it until it gives you what? Until it gets to the daily time frame demand zone and that, right? Yeah. Now look at this space as well, right? This space will just block a retest. Look at this space. Look at this space. Do you see this? Boom. Do you see that? A retest of the daily time frame order block, and that was it from here. Does that make sense?
Got it.
So we anchor H4 on, we anchor H4's breaker and source on daily time frame demand and supply zone or bearish or bullish order block. Daily time frame. Then we trade breaker and source on H4 that is anchored on daily time frame demand and supply zone. Then M15 is going to be entry. So that is the concept so far. So in our next class, we're going to talk about M15's M15's entry. But today I focus on daily time frame and H4. Talked about what to do on daily time frame. I want to do on H4. Talk about institutional order flow. Or no, I talked about the directional bias, right? That whenever price anchored on H4, as whenever price anchored on daily time frame demand and supply zone, right? And as whenever breakout sources form on H4, right? A bias has changed in line with demand and supply zone on daily time frame, right? It has to anchor on it. Am I correct? Am I making sense? And if you look at it, with that, you will not have a wrong directional bias, because the most important thing in this market is that get the directional bias accurately. That is it. So this is my what? Yeah. So this is my review. So price on daily time frame, I'm going to buy Euro USD for a very long time until it gets to this high.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Yeah. Right now, our entry is going to be on M15, but we are not going to talk about the entry today, right? So I'm going to give you an assignment. So my assignment number one, you're going to mark daily time frame. So you're going to mark four different charts for me. Number one, you're going to mark daily time frame demand and supply zone or order block, right? Okay.
Okay.
Daily time frame demand and supply zone or order block. Then you anchor H4, and you tell me that on H4 this is breaker and source. All right, those are the assignment you're going to do for me, right? And then you show me the breaker and source. Very, very important, because the most important thing is what is the breaker and source on H4 anchored on daily time frame demand or supply zone or order block, bullish or bearish order block. Does that make sense?
Perfect. Thanks.
Can you do that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So our next class is going to be prior to when you submitted the assignment. If you submit an assignment tomorrow, we're going to do our next class on Tuesday. So I'm giving you. I'm giving you today and tonight and tomorrow. On Wednesday, we will likely do our next class on Tuesday. Okay, let me give you 2 days.
Okay.
2 days, right?
Okay.
Please don't trade live yet. Okay. You're going to, after your training, you're going to demo for some time before you trade live. Does that make sense?
Perfect. All right.
I want you to have everything as it is, right? Listen, this is not pure ICT. It's a combination of BTMM and ICT. So don't get it twisted. There was a guy that came and was like, I was doing rubbish. I told him, say, you didn't learn pure ICT. You don't need this class to learn pure ICT. This is BTMM and ICT, right? And what to do is simple. Daily time frame demand and supply zone or order block. We anchor breakout source on H4 on it. Then we trade. Then we enter from M15. 3 steps.
Got it.
Simple as that. Does that make sense? Right?
Thank you, boss. Thank you, boss.
Yeah. So this is it. So I'm expecting an assignment. So like I said, I need 5 charts from you. You go to mark daily time frame demand and supply zone or bullish or bearish order block. Then you anchor H4 breaker and source on them. Right? Does that make sense?
Perfect.
Yeah. So you do this there. So you go to do you have a screenshot app?
Yeah, I'll send it on Telegram.
Okay. Do you have a screenshot app to screenshot your chat for me?
Yes.
Okay. If you, in case you don't have, let me know. So I will send you one. But if you have, no problem. Right. So you're going to use a notation that this is demand and supply zone or daily time frame order block. The daily time frame bullish or bearish order block. You go to mark, right? They on H4. I should be able to see it, right? That this is D1 demand of daily time frame order block, and this is breaker and source, right? Okay. Yeah. So when I saw it, I'm going to understand. I'll understand it. The institutional order flow, which is what order block along the trend, right? Something like this, right? Yeah. And that. So you just have to mark for me that. That's it. Any question for calling today?
Thank you. Got it.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll end the Zoom now. After the Zoom, I'll send you the recording from this class. Is that okay?
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. So do my assignment. Okay. Good night.
Yep.